Okay. So, I'm going to draw on it now. I would use a extra fine point Sharpie. I think the fatter Sharpie is a little bit too fat. And I can't look at my picture while I'm drawing this, but you can simply just re-outline the lines that you drew in Crayola marker. But I want you to hopefully kind of go a little bit past that and do a little bit more. So what we're trying to do is create some texture, and my hair has texture. Try to create some pattern. Try to create some contrast. And we talked a little bit about contrast when we did the Zentangle. Alexis, will you grab me another Sharpie? This one's kind of pooping out on me. So adding contrast means adding some dark parts that contrast and look different from the light parts. And that's kind of what I'm doing here by filling in some colors. It's really dark under there, so I'm going to kind of color it in. So you can see I'm getting some texture there too. Thank you. So right there, just in the past 1 minute of drawing, I've already added a lot more detail there. Let's see if this one works. These Sharpies are not awesome, I have to say. So this again is just a re-outline right there. So you can start with that, but I would go a little bit more detail than that. So if your hair is curly, try to make curly lines. My hair is straight, so I'm just trying to go in the direction of my hair growth. Okay? And that's probably all I'm going to do to my hair. And now I'm going to move on to my eyes. One thing you definitely should do is color in your eyes and add the black part of your eyes. Otherwise, I don't know if you can sense this, but it looks kind of creepy when your eyes are hollow. So to get rid of the creepy feeling, just pretend like you're sort of drawing on eyeliner, and then now we're outlining this. You don't have to color in the whole thing, because if you look at your eyes, you have like a little reflection, a white part. So don't color in all of it. I'm just coloring a part of it, okay? And this is really going to help it to not look creepy. So I put in the light part on the left-hand side. I'm going to do that here again. So I think that helped a little bit. Looks more realistic and not so creepy. Okay, eyebrows. I'm going to draw in some eyebrows there. You got to be real careful about drawing too many eyebrows, because then it'll look scary. Just light touches. So when we're doing this with the Sharpie, just light, loose drawing. I'm not really like gripping my pen like this. I'm just kind of drawing some real gestural lines. Okay, so that's sort of what I call them, gestural lines. They're just kind of very sketchy, okay? So very quick lines, quick movements. There's a shadow right there. That's a highlight. Definitely your nostril, the inside of your nostril has some shadows. And I'm not drawing the whole line here. I'm just kind of, there's the edge of my nose right there. This is a shadow right here. So I think, since I know that this is a shadow, I'm going to come in and first, this whole shape right here, I'm going to be using some lines to kind of make it a shadow. So these are just called hatching lines. So I'm just filling that in and making it dark. I know that the inside of my ear is dark, so I can just, if it's totally black, like a totally black area, you can just color it in all black. And that is fine. You can add some all black areas. So I know this is going to be hard for some of you to, because, you know, if you've never really sort of drawn realistically before, it's going to be kind of a stretch. And you're like, where do I draw? And that's why I tell you just to start with the picture that you took on Photo Booth and kind of go from there. I know that this back side of my neck right there is a really dark shadow because you're not getting a lot of light in there. So again, that's going to be a part that I color really dark, just all black. and then kind of working my way towards a little bit lighter. Okay, I'm going to draw on the line right here. This is just tracing again. Okay. I do think it would be a good idea to trace the outline of your clothes. So I got my collar right here. There's my shirt. And your shirt has some shadows to it. So I'm just kind of shading in the edge of my shirt there. Be dark right there. Now, Sharpie is permanent, so if you come to a part where you're like, ooh, I messed up, you know, again, just like the Zentangle, there are no such things as mess up, just turn it into something else. You may have to color a little bit more, okay? And the more dark areas I get, sometimes the more I want to go back and be like, all right, I want some more dark areas in my hair, and you can use a fat Sharpie if you need to. I think I'm going to add a little bit more of dark areas. And this is kind of dark right there, so I'm going to... And then definitely the shadow between your lips, if your lips are closed, that gets real dark in there. And that's what this is, right there. Add a little bit of texture. This is the underneath part of my lips. So it's going to be kind of sketchy, and it's going to be a little bit hard to do for some of you that have never sketched realistically before. I'm just starting with the lines that I drew on my with my Crayola marker, okay, and then just kind of building from there. All right, do it a little bit more. And of course, if you want to add some, like if you have a whole bunch of background area, if you want to add some Zentangle patterns, you can. Here's one that you can kind of just use and float in space. It's called, I think it's called Pods. And you can just do a whole bunch of those. You can kind of turn your hair into some Zentangle patterns. But if you got a bunch of space to fill, just fill it with designs, or Zentangle patterns are great for that. But hopefully your selfies are close enough that you don't have a bunch of space to fill. So that's mine, right? And I think I'm pretty much done with my hair. And now that I know I want to do some dark red violet, I'll just show you one section of what it looks like when you paint. So in order to make red violet, got to mix that in my little cup here. All right, so I've got some red violet that I've mixed right here. And since I know I want it to be a dark red violet, I'm going to add a little bit of black to it. That gets instantly pretty dark. So when you paint over it, remember with watercolors, don't paint colors right next to each other that are different colors. So the highlights in my hair are going to be a different color, and I have to wait to paint those, otherwise all these colors will bleed together. So paint right up to the Crayola mark. And like I said, I'm leaving this because I'm going to paint that a different color. This is the highlight of my hair up there. That's going to be a lighter version. My ear is right there. That's going to be a different color. So don't paint that yet. Wait till it dries. Wait till this purple color dries to paint it. And also notice how I'm painting in the direction of my hair, because you can kind of see the paint strokes. So you can use that to your advantage if you want, but running out a little bit. Okay, same thing over here. I have a highlight, so I'm going to paint that later. And that's kind of what it's starting to look like. So it's going to require a little bit of thought, and you're going to have to really think about where I want to draw Sharpie marks, where I'm going to add in some shadows with Sharpie, and where I'm going to add in some texture. You have to think about what it looks like realistically and look at the picture that you took with Photo Booth. Okay.